I was planning to make a video about this confrontation shortly before my channel was deactivated. Victor Martínez versus Phil Heath at the 2007 Arnold Classic. Victor won the contest and Phil was placed 5th behind Dexter Jackson, Tony Freeman, Gustavo Badell, and the winner, Victor Martínez. This video is meant to show how great Phil's physique was since day one. And this competition took place 4 years before he won his first Olympia title in 2011. Yet, you will see that any observer would know that this guy had all what it took to become Mr. Olympia. The front double biceps shows that both have great arms development, with each having different biceps shapes. It goes without saying that Victor has the wider chest and lats. But notice how aesthetic Phil looks, with his narrow waist which gives him a great V-taper. Victor is bigger and denser, but Phil's conditioning was very impressive, and his legs were incredible, as they combined size and definition, with visible striations in his outer quads. His midsection is tighter and more flattened than that of Victor, with what seems to be a small bulge in his lower abs. You can see the size advantage in Victor's thighs, especially in the hamstrings area. But honestly speaking, if I had to choose between the two physiques, I would choose Phil's physique. Although smaller, I believe he looks more aesthetic and pleasant to the eye. The front lat spread shows the size and the width advantage in Victor's favor. But Phil looks more aesthetic with his smaller waist and tighter lower abs. Phil's quads here look huge, ripped, and greatly separated with visible striations. I've said that before and I'll say it again. Phil always had great quads, and fair to say among the best. But they were underrated when compared to the massive thighs of Big Ramy, who definitely has the bigger, but not necessarily the better conditioned or defined thighs. The side chest shows the fullness and the roundedness in Victor's chest, but it also shows the great conditioning Phil had that night, with the split and the striations he shows in his chest. Although Victor had great arms in his prime, notice how powerful Phil's arms look in this pose. The explosive shoulders, the pumped biceps, and the massive forearms all indicate that this man was going to be Mr. Olympia one day. The back double biceps shows that Phil back then did not have his incredible 3D look in his back area. Yet you can see that he had powerful arms, shoulders, and incredibly huge and ripped traps, which perfectly connected with his lats. Notice how ripped and striated his glutes and hamstrings are. This is definitely a Mr. Olympia material. Victor, on the other hand, looks more massive with the wider lats, which obviously pack more muscles. Remember that Victor is 6 years older than Phil, and age counts when it comes to muscles' overall size and maturity. Phil was 28 years old at this contest, so he had all the time needed to improve and to get bigger and better conditioned, and the result was the unmatched physique he had in 2011, 12, and 13. The rear lat spread shows the size and the width advantage in Victor's favor. Phil never had wide lats. Yet, the fullness and the depth he showed in this area when hitting this pose was impressive. Although he didn't reach the 3D look back then, he was able to show great traps development and incredible conditioning in his lower section with his striated glutes and hamstrings. The abs and thighs shows that both had ripped midsection, with Victor having 6-pack abs and Phil having 4. Nevertheless, you can see that Phil looks tighter and his lower abs are more flattened, with Victor having what seems to be a bulge in his lower abs. Victor has the wider lats, but Phil has incredible arms, thighs, and calves. Notice the peak in his biceps, the size, the definition, and the separation in his quads, along with his powerful calves. The most muscular shows that Phil had a Mr. Olympia material, with his rounded and explosive shoulders and phenomenal arms and forearms. His chest is smaller but more rounded than Victor's. Notice how ripped and tight his midsection is and how huge and defined his quads are, although he was half the physique he had in 2011 when he won his first Olympia title. 2007 was Victor's best year ever, as he won the Arnold Classic defeating Dexter Jackson, then was placed second to Jay Cutler on the Olympia stage, where many fans and observers believed that he was the uncrowned Mr. Olympia that year. Not taking anything from Victor, but Phil looks great here, and this contest showed that he was going to achieve something great in bodybuilding, and he lived up to all expectations. That was all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching, and have a nice one.